Decisions. Whether you realize it or not, you make hundreds of decisions every day. And every decision you make will either lead to a positive or to a negative outcome. So it would make sense to learn as much as you can about your decision-making process, would it not? Now, some decisions are easy to make, but sometimes you might find yourself in two minds about something. So let's start with the J. Abraham close. Let's say you are looking at buying a new car, just for example, right? So do you buy a petrol, a diesel, or an electric vehicle, or a combination? So let's keep this simple and do a comparison between a petrol and an electric vehicle. So you start by taking a piece of paper and you draw a line down the center. Give a heading for each column, petrol, electric, then draw another line down the center of each and label them negative, positive. And then you list all the negatives for the petrol and all the negatives for the electric vehicle. And then you list all the positives for each vehicle. All right. Then you rank the negatives and the positives in order of importance. So to do this, ask yourself, if in any one day you could only have one of these, which would it be? Or if any one day you could only avoid one of these, which would it be? And if you could have that criterion plus one more, which would it be? And so on, just as you would rank a values hierarchy. Now, if you like, you could also give each of the criteria a relative numerical value and then total up the number for each column. So in all this, you have been making binary decisions. Is it a negative or is it a positive? To make it easier, lift up both of your hands like this. Let's say you put the electric vehicle in the left hand and you put the petrol vehicle in the right hand. You look at all the information that you have about each and you weigh it up. All right? And you could also do a comparison of the negatives and then do a comparison of the positives. Which one has the bigger negatives and which one has the bigger positives? And then when you make a final decision, do you make it based upon what one of the vehicle has to offer? For example, the EV emits lower pollution. That could be a big positive for you. Or because you want to avoid a negative. For example, I don't like the risk of the EV catching fire in my garage. And you see this process at election time, when people will vote for a politician, not because they like them, but because they don't want the opposing candidate to gain power. It's like voting for the least of two evils. Now, breaking the decision-making process into two categories is very useful. There are two sides to everything. There's an upside and a downside, a pro and a con, a benefit and a consequence. And when you visualize the choices in your hands, it also allows you to step back to a meta position and view the choices more as a dispassionate observer. Which one do you want? This one or this one? And notice that as you do this, that you can only focus on one choice at a time. This one or this one. Now, I know there are some procedures in which you collapse the two extremes so that you move from an either or to an and position. But this is not what we're doing here. In the binary decision-making process, you have to make a choice between walking through that door or that door, metaphorically speaking. You can wear the blue shirt or the red shirt, but you can't wear both at the same time. Now, when I think of that, I get a picture of a floral Hawaiian shirt, but I don't want to wear a floral shirt. I want either a plain blue shirt or a plain red shirt. So it's one or the other. So once you have this basic structure in mind, then you can use it to motivate and get commitment from people. And keep in mind that he who sets the frame controls the game. Let's say you want to help a friend stop drinking alcohol. You could say to the friend, what is more important, having a drink or avoiding a bad hangover? Which one do you want? And let's say your friend is a musician. You might ask, well, how would you rather spend your evening? You know, drinking a six-pack while watching a film on TV, or putting on your headphones and playing on the keyboard, which is going to be the most rewarding? So you're asking the person to make a choice between one or the other. You put boundaries around each, and you say this one or this one. Now let's say there's a housing shortage in your area and rental prices are skyrocketing. So you do a poll or a survey, what it was called, and you ask the local population, which is more important, mass immigration or affordable housing? It is one or the other. You can't have both. Or if a house becomes available for rent, should it be given to an immigrant or rented to a local? Another example, if a house becomes available for rent, should it be rented to an international student or to a local? It's one or the other. If a house becomes available for rent, should it be rented to an international tourist or to a local? So as you see what I'm doing, it gets a bit tedious, but you have to break it down. You've got to break it down into a binary decision. Because otherwise people will they'll just go off into say, oh, what about this? Yeah, but I'm doing this, or Airbnb. You've got to know, you break it down into one or the other, and this is how you actually take control. So you set the frame, and then you ask people to make a binary decision and choose one or the other. You can't have both. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And if you want to support my channel, please give the video a like and share it on social media. It will help give the videos a wider reach. All the best to you, and see you soon.